Good morning, everybody. It is Saturday morning, and we are here back at the racetrack for the very last race we have this year. This weekend is what they call the QuadDuro, which means over today and tomorrow, and I was here yesterday, so yesterday as well, we are running all 4 configurations this track can be in. Starting with what we're about to do here in about 10 minutes, full track, which is my favorite configuration by far. It's also where I spun out last year and smacked that wall. That being said, there is one little issue with the car. Well, let me quickly show you what that is. Watch this. Look at how much fuel I've put in the car. The reason for the quantity of fuel we have in the car, 3/4 of the tank, is because I'm getting worse fuel starvation than I've ever gotten before. I started fuel starving at half a tank yesterday. I have never fuel starved that high. We'll talk about that later because right now I've got about 10 minutes to get my shoes on and get out there to the grid because my session is about to start. Plus, the bay that I'm sharing with my friend, he's supposed to go half here. I'm parked in the middle. I kind of got to get out of the way for him real quick. So I'm going to go hit the track, get my first session done. We'll see what times I run. And then we got a lot more races to go today. I didn't have any fuel starvation issues because, like I said, I'm running 3/4 of a tank right now, as you guys saw. Let's see where we're at now. Right there at about a half a tank. So pretty typical amount of run for me, which is about 1/4 of a tank. So yeah, that section went relatively well out there. It was fun. I had a little bit of a hiccup there. You know, I'm not even going to try and explain this. I'm going to let voiceover me explain it because there's a lot of details to it. And I'm just going to be speculative because I don't actually know the whole story. I haven't seen the footage yet, even though I'm the one responsible. So I'll have voiceover me explain that for you. Alright, post me here, and I am so glad that we're doing this in post because at the track I had no idea what was going on. But now that I've looked at the footage, I can give you a better idea. This is me coming into a set of turns called the Triple Ds. Ahead of me is a set of 3 cars that I'm catching. One is in a slower class than me. They should be easy to pass. One is my direct competition, the guy that I've been fighting for 3rd place all year. Now if we fast forward a little bit here, now we are on the middle straight, the part that connects west track to east track. Now I was expecting the black BMW to try and overtake these 2 cars because he had caught them as well and I know he was faster than them. But he didn't, so I decided to overtake him. And right behind me, following suit, the Porsche also overtook him. But if you look right here, there is an emergency vehicle on track. Now immediately after doing the overtake, I realized to myself that I had just passed an emergency vehicle, which made me realize that there probably was a yellow flag. But I had not recalled seeing any yellow flags at the last station we had passed. And that is actually the key. You see, on Friday, this station was not manned. But today, this station has a guy with a flag. And as you could see, right there is a yellow flag. So I did indeed pass under yellow. But here's where things got weird, and this is why I was really confused. Now after the session was over, I went to this driver and this driver to ask them if I passed under a yellow. Neither one of them saw the yellow flag. They both said they did not see a yellow flag. Also, the blue Porsche behind me followed me in the pass, which means 2 cars did not see a yellow flag, and 2 of the other 3 that didn't initiate passes said that they didn't see a yellow flag. So ultimately there was a lot of confusion on whether or not that pass was legal or if there was a yellow flag. None of us had seen yellow flags, but the video tells all. Ultimately, I should have seen the yellow flag and not initiated the pass, so it is still driver error. But it left me very confused when no one could claim that there was actually a yellow flag there. And I also didn't later get black flagged for passing under yellow conditions. So yeah, kind of a interesting situation. Anyway guys, I actually do have to go grid up for my next session, and this time I'm going to let it run at the half a tank since I've already got a legal time. I think I can run it faster. I needed just 1 lap to do that, but I want to see if I fuel starve again at this half a tank because I don't want to run it at a full 3/4 tank. So we're gonna see if we can make this actually work this time around for us. guys, sorry I finished both my sessions now. Let me quickly explain to you guys what I was talking about with this being different. So how this works with the QuadDuro is we have east track, west track, outer loop, which is the outer side, and then full, which is front straight, west track, a cutover to east track, and then back to the front straight. And how they run it with those 4 tracks that we're doing, to do 2 a day. Today is outer and full. They're going to take our fastest time from one track and our fastest time from the other track, and that will be the time that we get for the overall. They'll like add them together. Say for example, this actually did happen last year. I ran east track faster than my competition, and he ran west track faster than me. The difference between the amount of time that he ran on me on west track actually got him to win overall. Even though we both won 1 track each, he had a faster time overall. So that means we have to run 2 successful times. I just finished up on full track. I've done both my sessions for that, and I got a best of a 2:17.26 something, if I'm not mistaken, which I believe is my fastest time ever on full track. Next, after lunch, we're gonna have outer track, which you guys are familiar with. That is going to be the one that we're gonna have to run next. And if I do not get a time on one of those tracks at all, I get no time for the day and it counts as a 0. So I have to run full track at least once successfully in order to put any time down today. I will note the second session was a lot faster than the first. Over a second faster. Now let me show you the fuel situation. As you can see, I'm now down to a 1/4 of a tank. I ran it from a half tank, like I said, down to a 1/4. It is really odd that I am getting fuel starvation issues yesterday at a half a tank, and I got no fuel starvation issues at all on a 1/4 of a tank, or at least where it is now, on my last session. Not understanding this, it's being super weird, and there's nothing that I can really say about it. It's just being inconsistent. Something I'm definitely going to figure out over the winter, but as for right now, I have no idea. It's just being what it is. Anyway, we've got about 2 hours for lunch, so I'm going to go ahead and just go into town. I'm going to get some fuel, and then I have to do a tire rotation when I get back, but I'm going to get lunch while I'm in town as well, and I think we're going to get some ramen. My other fuel can's nozzles broke. Nice jerry cans, you know? So, I'm stuck with this stupid California compliant garbage can. Okay, so I got all 4 tires off, and I'll figure out which one needs to go where in a second. But this one is something I just want to point out. To start off with, it's very unfortunate how much I've already eaten these brake pads. They're like brand new brake pads, but they're just getting destroyed. And that's the front for you. Another thing, hopefully you can see them, but there's all these tiny little micro cracks all the way throughout my rotors, only on the fronts. And these StopTechs, I've already had to replace a set of StopTech rotors that cracked right through the center. I actually did it on both top and bottom. I did a video on that when that happened, but so yeah, that's unfortunate that that's happening. And these are StopTechs. Once again, I'm not going to go StopTech rotors, so I'll have to replace those through the winter so that they'll actually have rotors for next year. But that's beside the point. My tires are looking. This is the one that's going to get the most abuse right here, or the second most abuse, and they're surviving. These are the ones I was saying that I'm going to be running today and tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, that I wasn't originally going to be running for Saturday, Sunday, just for practice, but I think they're going to hold up the rest of the week just fine. Now, the tires that were on here this morning, the ones from yesterday that I was showing you were the ones that I didn't intend to run anymore. Those basically look like slicks now. As you can see, they're completely bald. So I had Velocity, they're the people who do my tires, change them out for me. I had them just recycle those tires. No point in running them. They may have run one more day, but there's no point in saving them. Anyway, I've got to start getting ready for my next session. So I'm going to quickly figure out what tire goes where. We're going to get them thrown on, and then we'll get this thing back on the ground. We are running the outer configuration now, so this is the second track we're running today. I'm currently sitting second place on the day for the TT4 group by about second and a half, which means that even if I lose on this configuration, the guy who is in third right now would have to run over a second and a half faster than me. Also, speaking of my brakes eating themselves up, this is what the spot that the front wheels were at looks like. Just a pile of dust. Okay guys, let's talk about what just happened. First off, still running in second place for the day. I'm second place overall, and I just broke my record by about a second and a half with a 2:10.930. That is the fastest I have ever run that track. That's good, guys. I am about 3 seconds ahead of third place right now. Okay, my front GoPro did not turn on. It doesn't turn on. I don't know what's wrong. I replaced the battery with a brand new fresh one that just come off the charger. Won't turn on. So I missed the battery on that section. Hold on. My front GoPro, which is now getting washed out by the light, would not turn on. And then my other GoPro is up here on the rear. And instead of facing forward like it usually does, where I could just alternatively use this view, which is a little bit worse, but it would still show out the windshield, I have it pointing out the back of the car because I just tried that. You know, it's something new to try. I was following a Porsche. And do you guys remember that moment in NASCAR at Watkins Glen when Danica Patrick ran over a shoe? I have no idea what I got hit by. But all I know is I saw the Porsche send something big and black towards my car, and then my whole car just a massive shock through the whole car. Huge hit to the bottom. If it was rubber, it was an entire tire. First thing I did was check my brakes, check my steering, just to see if I had anything broken. I got lucky. Let me show you guys. See how this is flat? And then this is indented. And you can very clearly see that puncture right there through the car, that puncture right there, and then that destruction right there. I don't know what it was, but that just absolutely smashed my underside. Now, I obviously have these covers here to protect me. Whatever it is also broke the cover, but it hit on this side of the cover. If it had hit a little further back, I've got my brake lines right there, and it could have just destroyed my brake lines. It also seems whatever it is decided it wanted to try and take out this bar too, because that damage does look new to me. As you can see, it hit up forward, which has caused sound deadening to pop off. This is where the puncture is on the other side. It is double layer thick, kind of like this is right here where it's 2 layers of metal. I believe this is another one of the punctures on the other side, once again double layer thick. But you can see this whole area is bent up, and then that guy got pretty gnarly bent up. Another one that's bent up here, another one is bent up here, once again more sound deadening coming off. That whole area is bent up. And the third section is this area right here. I think this is where the third puncture was, if I'm not mistaken. And as you can see, it came up and knocked out all that sound deadening there. Hello there. Hello. Hello. Goodbye. Goodbye. Honestly, I'm just disappointed my camera didn't work. That was probably the most entertaining session I could have ever edited. And then for my own personal sake, that would have been a great session to have. Anyway, guys, we got one last session to go. It's not structural, well, I mean, I don't know, but it's not gonna destroy my car, whatever I hit. I did talk to the Porsche owner, and the Porsche owner says they didn't hit anything. So I warned them that it very well could have been part of their car that flew up underneath me. But they said they've been out twice since it happened, and it's driving fine. So whatever it is that they lost obviously wasn't affecting their car's ability to drive either. And with this thing back on the ground, let's figure out what's wrong with this camera, because that was a brand new battery that was in it. So there's no reason it shouldn't work. Plus, even though I'm not going to capture anything as cool as last session, you guys will get no outer loop footage if my front camera isn't turning on. I just threw another battery in there. This one should also be fully charged, so if it doesn't turn on, then I know my GoPro's broken. Okay, that's good. That's on, which means we'll have footage, and that is 100%. Which means this guy, which came off the charger and then into the camera right before that session, that means this battery is dead. My HPD1 student has left for the day, so I'm not as rushed as I was. No need to rotate tires. The damage done to my car, although entertaining to look at, is not going to cause any issues with running, so I don't have to worry about that either. So we've got one more session to see if we can put down an even better time than the 2:10.9 that I just put down as my new record. pretty late and my hair has gotten helmet headed. Pretty empty in the garage right now because most people have gone off to dinner. We're about to go off to dinner as well. Seems if you add the word Duro to the name of the event that my Miata friend decides to stay for Sundays as well, because he was here for the Enduro and now he's here for the QuadDuro. So car has been running fine. The only issue is we're still getting those massive fuel starvation. I ultimately got a fuel starvation on my last session. I ran 1 lap, then fuel starve. I had to pull off because it went into a limp mode, and that was starting with a half a tank. I did push it a little just to see if it actually was a new fuel starve point or if I could actually start pushing it again, because it's being weird, and unfortunately it fuel starved. That being said, I broke my record once again in that session. I got 1 lap in. Now I have a 2:10.8 as my fastest time around that, and unfortunately I feel like if I didn't have fuel starve issues, I would have gone faster. I fuel starved on that lap, which slowed me down drastically through Witchcraft, which is where my fuel starvation hits. Probably would have been a very nice lap. I talked to the guy who's running first place in the TT4 group this year. He gave me a lot of very good pointers on how I can drive faster, because I know it's not just car. I know there's driver in there. That being said, unfortunately, I did not get second today like I was expecting to do. I got third. The guy that hasn't been running all year, that used to be one of the fastest guys that was still here, he came back just for today. I am behind him by about 2.5 seconds, putting me in an overall 3rd place. I've always got tomorrow to do better, and that's the plan. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in, well, I guess tomorrow, but the next video. See ya.